on Sunday. One day later, everybody gets a chance to kind of catch their breath a little bit regarding Antonio Brown. What are you able to share with us? It was a bizarre sequence because Byron's calling plays. You're trying to get personnel in on the field. All of a sudden, we see what we saw on television. What happened there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's obvious what happened. It was everybody recorded it, but he just left the field.
After the game, we hear from guys on the team, his peers, guys on the team that consider him a friend. There's legitimate concern, and we've thrown the words mental health out there, and it's a big, big topic today regarding this incident. What can players do, whether they are witnessing this or if someone needs help? Is there anything the Players Association can do or the league to help guys that are maybe asking for help?
Oh, gosh, yeah, everything's in place for anybody that wants help or needs help. And, we have two great psychologists on staff, and the league and the Players Association has hotlines and everything else. You just have to ask for it.
Are you worried about Antonio? You're a father. You're a guy who coaches young men, and you've mentored a lot of people. Are you worried for this guy?
Yeah, I care about him, and I just hope only the best for him.
There it is on Bucks Bonus here, powered by 1-800-ASK-GARY with Dan Lucas and JB Buno. So that was the interview. You're going to see more with Bruce Arians and Dan Lucas here tonight on WFLA News Channel 8. I just want to quickly, Dan, before I want to hear more from you on this interview and just the barrage of questions that Bruce Arians had to deal with. But just some of the comments that have come in. Joyce Brown Long, #KJB, in our Facebook Live comment section. Use one of the hashtags. We can feature your comment here interactively on the screen, saying Antonio Brown needs immediate mental health. Doris Norgan here, or Norgan, #KJB. He has issues. Hopefully he gets the help that he needs. Mental health is no joke. It's sad, really. Erica Ryder, #KJB, #HeyDan. Antonio Brown has always been the victim, or so he would say. I'm not even interested in his story. He failed to do his job. We're going to talk more about that in a second, but I really want to focus on Jocelyn's comment, #KJB, that he said in a news brief that his ankle was hurting him, and that's why he didn't go in. So let's talk about why. The big question here, Dan, is why this all unfolded. Ian Rappaport comes out this morning with the report that we believe comes from Brown's side, saying that there was a refusal to go into the game because of an ankle injury, that the mid-game sort of conversation that took place was related to an ankle injury, and that he didn't want to go into the game with the ankle injury. Bruce Arians saying it had nothing to do with an ankle injury. So now we have these conflicting stories coming out and people trying to make sense of what led to this circus unfolding yesterday at MetLife Stadium.
His agent did communicate and say that was that's Antonio's side of the story in that particular instance. But Bruce Arians says no, it was not, as you mentioned. So you now have completely conflicting stories on the scenario that took place. And that the one thing I do know, a lot of players, other than Mike Evans, who we saw on social media was visibly interacting with Antonio right before he took off his jersey, a lot of players had no idea this was happening. And when it came to a head late in the third quarter, the offensive players, many of them were on the field. So when Tom Brady says he didn't realize what had happened, he's telling the truth. The play clock was running as Antonio Brown was running through the end zone. So a lot of guys were not aware of what was going on at the time. But Antonio Brown had an ankle injury. He's had lower body injuries that have hampered him for most of the season. He's played hurt. He's missed games, obviously, with the suspension. But he's a guy that has incentives in his contract, and a lot of those have to do with receptions, touchdowns, longevity, and that type of thing. And that's where the bulk of his salary this year was going to come. He was not an expensive player because the Bucs had such salary cap limitations, so they kind of work your way through the system by giving incentives where a guy can make a big payday. It doesn't hurt your salary cap. So that's what Antonio Brown was going for. So I find it strange that he would want to take himself out of a game with these things at stake. And you also have the the 17th game coming up next week where he could add to his statistics to reach those incentives. But this is a guy, if you think back to last year in the regular season finale, Tom Brady chucking the ball to him, little 3-yard underhand passes to get him to his incentives. If they were willing to do that last year, why would he not want to be on the field this year to get those same incentives? Not to mention the fact that the Bucs, in that particular scenario, were down by 14 points, and they looked like they were now starting to move the ball and they were going to make something happen, which did. But in that particular instance, it was a touchdown drive. The Bucs were in the middle of it, and that's when this all took place.
We have an